What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to today's edition of Free Tool Friday. My name is Tyler S. Clark, co-founder of DreamFirms, where we help accounting professionals create generational wealth and impact by attracting and winning the business of your dream clients. And to help you to do just that, we're going to discuss why accountants still struggle to get paid their true value and secure high quality clients. And to help you understand exactly what we're going to be doing and discussing today is we're going to be talking about sales and the way in which the sales process must be done to get paid your value. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with what is considered the traditional sales approach, and then you're going to see how a slightly different approach, maybe where we flip it on its head, is going to lead to radically different results for you and your firm. So this is what is known as the sales triangle. It's not a really good triangle, but good news is it's got three corners, so therefore it's technically a triangle. When you are getting ready to go through your sales process, you got a qualified prospect, they're getting ready to engage with you, there's really three main parts to your presentation here. And the first part here that most people tend to think about is, well, they say, you know what? We're going to talk about the probe, right? So you've got your probe here, and you might think that this includes some rapport building, asking them how they're doing, ultimately what they've got going on in their business, starting to do a little bit of that fact finding and build that relationship. But despite the fact my proportions are a little bit off right now, this is usually the smallest percentage of what your presentation or your sales process is going to include. And again, this is the traditional way of thinking about it. After that, we get into, of course, the presentation. And this is where you are going to essentially say, hey, this is what we have to offer. This is the benefits associated with it. And this is the price. That's where we're going to really end the presentation. So we're kicking off with being able to end the probe. Understand, okay, we have the information we're looking for. We're going to get into the presentation, and then we're going to tell them why we're the best accountant in town, what they're going to get, and what the price is going to be. And then the final part here, which tends to be the least enjoyable part, rightfully so, is known as the close. Okay? So you've got the probe, the presentation, and the close. Now, historically speaking, the way most people will talk about this sales triangle, they'll say you should spend about 10% of your time, 10 to 15% on the probe, right? They're going to say, hey, don't spend too much time in here. Make sure you understand what's going on with their situation, but you want to move quickly into the presentation because this is where your value is going to shine. And we're going to talk about maybe how that's not necessarily entirely true in just a minute here. And then they're going to say, well, realistically, you're going to spend maybe as much as 40 to 50% of your time on the presentation. They got to know exactly what they're buying. They got to understand exactly what you've got going on here. And so you've got a pretty big time commitment that's going to be here. And then the remainder of your time, again, anywhere from as much as 30 to 40%, you're going to spend on the close. Now, I don't know about you, but if you're spending 30 to 40% of your time convincing them to buy from you, you are not doing a good enough job in these two areas. Because when it comes time to buy, it should be relatively simple and straightforward. This means that we're applying high pressure closing tactics. That means that we are not doing a good enough job of expressing our value before it comes time to make a decision to invest in your services at the level that you were looking to acquire. Now, I just want you to keep this in mind here because this is the typical way that I see most accounting professionals approaching their services. They get out of the probe really quickly. They move into the presentation, and that's okay. We're going to talk about how to define this part a little bit later in today's Free Tool Friday. And then they move into the close, and the close is either not any time at all, or they don't even ask for a commitment, or they don't really have much of a structured approach to these two sections, and really not nearly enough time spent in this one up here. So what we're going to do here is we like to kind of flip things on their head here at DreamFirms because we want to get better results, and sometimes it requires looking at the old way of doing things and changing it. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to invert the sales triangle very quickly, okay? So same exact principles, except instead now, what we're going to do is we're going to go like this, okay? That's a little bit of a better triangle. And we're going to go like this. And that's a little bit better of the proportions that I'd like to see. And so what you're going to see here is that now your probe, and I'm actually just going to write this right in the triangle, probe should take up the majority of your time, okay? Because here's the thing about getting paid your value. Your value does not start with expressing why you're the best accountant in town. It starts with understanding that person's situation and proving that you care about them. So I'm going to write this in red because it's so important. I want at least 50% of the time you spend with an individual on the probe. At the very least, this should take up the most time during your sales consultation. The second thing that we're going to pay attention to here is, of course, going to be your presentation. And so during your presentation, I want this to take up somewhere between 25 to 30% of the time and we're going to dive into this in a second, I want to make sure they know exactly what they are buying from you. And we have to be super crystal clear on this because we don't want scope creep. And we do not want mismanaged and improperly set expectations that lead to a disgruntled potential client who could be a dream client with the right approach. So I'm going to look at 30% here plus, and really I could bump that as high as 40%. And then the last part here is, of course, going to be the close. Okay? And I know when we talk about the close, some people start to get kind of concerned, they think high pressure, but the close is ultimately just answering questions that would prevent them from moving forward with you at this time. And when you factor that in, really we're going to be having at most 20%. I mean, like literally it should be less than 10%. And so if you think about that from a structured standpoint of a 30-minute free consultation, you're going to say, okay, what is that, 10%? You're going to say about 3 to 6 minutes on your close. That's what we're talking about. It's the tail end of the call, maybe booking a follow-up call if necessary, giving an accurate quote, and answering any questions that would be preventing them from moving forward. We're not talking about any high-pressure tactics in any capacity here. So I'm realistically going to list this as 10 to 20%, right? I mean, that to me is completely fair depending on how quickly you move through these two elements with the right approach. Okay, so again, this is the inverted sales triangle. I can tell you right now, if you are struggling to get paid your value, it's because you are glossing over this part too quickly and you have not properly defined what you are presenting. And we're going to dive into this part right now. So this is the inverted sales triangle. I ask you to keep this in your pocket as how much time am I spending on the probe? Is it at least 15 minutes? Because it should be. It's about your prospect at the end of the day. It's not about your value. And I have to emphasize that. It's about understanding your prospect situation and proving to them that you care about them and what it's going to take to access your value. It's not about trying to prove to them that you are valuable. You'll prove to them that you're valuable by genuinely caring about their situation through asking meaningful questions. An entrepreneur is not judged by the statements they make, but by the questions they choose to ask. And I want you to ask really great questions to get that entrepreneur thinking about the problems they're experiencing, the things that they need to go through to be able to experience the value of your service and how you're going to solve the problems that they are currently running into. So remember, I said that during the presentation, we need to be very clear on what we are offering, because if you're struggling to get paid your value, you need to define exactly how they can access that value. And if you can't clearly tell me what I'm buying and why I should be buying it, well then we're going to have a problem. So I'm going to cover this in two very quick exercises. I have a separate video lesson that's available for free on our YouTube that talks about this a little bit more, so I don't want to go too much into detail right now, but you essentially should understand what this looks like, okay? And this is known as your value ladder. It's literally meant to make sure that you know what you offer or what level. Some people refer to this as different pricing packages, but you have to be able to say, okay, when you are this type of client, okay, and you're maybe not the biggest client that would be able to afford my $5,000, $10,000 a month package of service, well, maybe you need my $500 per month service. Maybe you need my $1,000 per month service. And if you don't properly bracket what is included in these, right, you might say, well, this is, bookkeeping and a quarterly meeting and this one, and we'll also do your taxes, right? It's like a really basic introductory compliance package. That's terrible writing. But the idea, again, is you need to make sure that you know exactly what you're presenting. You might say, but Tyler, how do I know which one of these to present? The probe. It's on this. You know which one of these is the right fit for that person because you've asked a lot of meaningful questions about their situation. And you might say, well, Tyler, what happens when we get to the close and they go, my 5K package per month is too much? They say, oh, no, I can't afford that. And I say, okay, no problem. Let's move them down. But when we move them down, let's make sure they understand what they are losing, right? Like, what do they lose when they go in this direction? And now you've given them an either or option, right? It's like, well, listen, I know I put you here because this is realistically what your business needs, but I understand price is a concern for you. We can drop you down to a smaller package, but here's what we're going to lose from that. Which of these is a better choice for you? No high pressure closing. It's just, you're just being extremely clear with what you have to offer. Now, this is different for all of you, so I'm not filling in the blanks intentionally here. You have to know what is it you're offering? What is it that you're presenting on? And when you get a pushback, how are you going to overcome that? That is ultimately what the closing portion of it is pushback is just, I'm not sure, right? And you are there to provide guidance. Your value is being able to guide them through something that they don't really know much about. And you need to be able to guide them through that, especially during the close, as well as making sure that the presentation is catered to that individual on how they are approaching the probe, or how you are approaching the probe and how they are responding to it. I want to do one last very simple exercise. And again, I know that was a very quick look at value ladder, but just think of it as, if you can't properly define what you're offering, how can you possibly sell it effectively? You can't. And that's why a lot of people get bottlenecked in their business, is they end up doing everything for really low quality clients, and then they never realign the expectations for those clients. Or they just continue to make that mistake over and over again. So I want to do one last thing about making sure that you get paid your value. And that really, to me, yes, it starts with the probe, but the exclamation point is on the presentation. So let me go through just a very simple example of like what I mean with how you can do a presentation the right way for accounting services. So this to me is a very easy thing to do, right? Because all you need to do is focus on this. There are features and there are benefits. Okay? I'm a big fan of the T chart, a little preferential to the letter T. And then you've got your benefits here. Okay? What do you think that the split of time is between these, right? So you're moving into your presentation, you know they're maybe in your middle tier package, you know exactly what that includes. So you go, okay, it's going to include bookkeeping, a monthly consultation with me, it's going to include a setup of their chart of accounts, it's going to include an entity analysis, it's going to include tax planning. Again, this is just off the top of my head, it will be whatever you think it is. But then we say, okay, well, all I did right there is I listed features, okay? And when you're talking about features, right, so we could say like just bookkeeping, right? Just put BK. Bookkeeping is a feature. I don't quite frankly care a whole lot about the feature. I care a lot about the benefit. The benefit is the result. Result is a synonym for value. So therefore, what we need to stay focused on the most is this area over here, which is, why does bookkeeping matter to me, right? Why? And this isn't necessarily about the quality of the work you deliver. I hear whenever we get into this for a couple of people, a lot of people will gravitate towards the quality of our work is the best. And I go, I'm not here to doubt that. It's hard for me to disprove that. But from the buyer's perspective, what do I really care about? I care about how it impacts my life. And so what we want to do is we want to make sure that our features are 5% of the time that we talk about it during the presentation. Literally, it's like, so we're going to take care of your bookkeeping on a weekly, monthly, quarterly basis, whatever it is, right? We're going to take care of your bookkeeping. And the reason that's important to you is because when you have accurate financial data, not only do you avoid costly penalties because we can take care of your compliance and your taxes super efficiently and on time, you also get to make better and more informed decisions with your business with the right data. Isn't that exciting? That's 95% of what you need to be saying, right? We could go a little further, right? We could talk a little bit more about the value of bookkeeping. We can maybe even talk a little bit about the how. I don't want to get into the weeds, especially during the presentation, but I want to make sure that they understand that this is all about them. This is why it benefits their life. And I can tell you, if you're struggling to get paid your value, you need to understand what is the proper way to conduct a sales presentation? How can you structure your packages? And by listening to what the prospective client, is telling you about their situation, how can you make sure they get slotted in the appropriate package? And then how can you follow this structure during your presentation? Because if you follow this structure, I'm just going to tell you what it is, and then I'm going to tell you why it matters, right? And then you go on to the next one, and then you're going to say, okay, we're going to talk about maybe tax planning, right? TXP. And we're going to say for tax planning, that's what we're going to do. Here's why it's valuable to you. And of course, I could give another example, but you get the point. Stay focused on why it matters to them above all else. Don't worry about your credentials, how long you've been doing it. We can maybe have a small part that references those things, but in reality, I'm going to be perfectly frank, they don't care. They don't care. They care about why it benefits their life. And as long as you can stay zeroed in on this thing, you're going to have way more success in getting paid your value and securing high quality clients. Now, very quickly, I just want to say that if you feel like you need help with the structure and the process of this, we have that for you. We have our C4 sales script. We're launching this right now as a standalone. You can literally just get the script to be able to crush your future sales opportunities with incredible clarity. There's over 35 pages walking you through how to be able to sell your incredibly valuable services without high pressure tactics in any capacity. Our clients love this. This is a script that's origins start literally 30 years ago, have helped over 4,000 firms to explode past their growth goals, and you have the modern updated version to be more reflective of value billing, value pricing, and it's literally accessible to you for $7. $7, dreamfirms.com/script. You can go there right now. It's literally $7, dreamfirms.com/script. Go check it out right now. If you are remotely unsure about your ability to sell, not sure about how to announce your price, not sure about what questions you need to ask during the probe, not sure about how to structure your presentation, not sure about how to transition into the close, this answers all of those questions in the highest quality way possible, and it's literally $7. It's $7. So you can share this with a team member, because if maybe you're trying to pull yourself out of getting in that sales role all the time and you need someone to be able to help with sales opportunities, you've got that up and coming account manager, please understand that this is meant to be a resource that your firm can enjoy, not just you as well. So have that high level manager mentality, and I assure you that you're going to absolutely love what this has to offer. So again, just go to dreamfirms.com/script. It is literally $7, and I assure you, you're going to absolutely love what it has to offer to you. No high pressure tactics whatsoever. We don't practice it, we don't teach it, and we certainly don't want you to do it either. My name is Tyler S. Clark. Thank you for checking out today's Free Tool Friday. But again, please check out www.dreamfirms.com/script to access our C4 sales script for literally just $7, and make sure that you crush your next opportunity and ultimately never struggle to get paid your value ever again. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.